Okay, so the recording is on. So what we have here is we have 4 lines here, right? So let's look at the first one. Okay, from here, let me put into another line here. Okay, we already know when we escape it, you go back into the, you exit edit mode, okay? If you push I as in India on the keyboard, you will get into the insert mode. Insert mode is edit mode, okay? Alright. Down on the bottom here, where you see insert, it says edit mode. If you push escape, you get out of the escape mode. And Q means quits the file when no changes are made, okay? So you hit the escape key, shift colon and Q as in queen. Okay, every time I put up here, it says shift plus colon. This is save and exit here, but you still have to bring it to the command here. What do you want to do? Shift plus colon. Down on the bottom, if you do Q, it will quit the file without saving, okay? Let's go back into the file.
Zafar bhai, quick question.
Yeah.
On that, the command you said shift plus colon X, and now you are saying shift plus colon Q. So do we use X or Q?
X is when you have made the changes. So X is for save and exit.
Oh, okay.
And if you came in here and you didn't make any changes, you just came in and you just read the file, okay? And you want to quit out of the file, you just Q and hit enter, nothing happens. You exit the file.
I understand. Okay.
You go back in there, and then I'm going to say I as in India, and I'm going to say this is line 6, and I hit escape. Oh, I made the changes, but I don't want to save it anything, okay? You do shift colon, Q and exclamation. It says quits disregarding the changes. You have ended the file. If you have edited the file, shift Q and exclamation. You hit enter. And you go back in there, you added the line 6, right? Line 6 is not there anymore.
Right.
Okay, now you have double YY. Okay, you have double YY here. So what is YY? You push YY, but you're not going to see on the keyboard here, okay? Anything is going to happen. But you might see down on the bottom, it says it will copy the file. So I'm copying line 3. So what I'm going to do is YY. I push YY two times right now after each other. So the file, the line is copied here. And I come down here, I want to paste it. All I have to do is P as in Papa. I keep pushing P on the keyboard, it keep pasting it. Okay? Everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, so okay. Now, okay. Now you want to get rid of these 3 files. These 3 lines are extra lines here. You just wanted to copy 1 extra line here, right? So what you do is you escape out of it, push the escape, and push U as an umbrella on the keyboard. Any last edit you did is gonna undo it for you, okay? It's like undo in the Word document. Okay, I'm happy with this. I want to save and exit. Shift:X as in Xerox. Okay, and hit enter. Let's go back in there again. Okay, I'm on this line here, so I want to delete line 3 from here. Or you know what, let me show you how to delete the one character at a time. So I'm here. I want to delete, this is line 3, right? I want to delete this letter here. So just push X on the keyboard. Keep pushing X, X, X. It will delete each letter for you, okay? This will delete each letter for you. And if you want to save and exit, Shift:X, you save and exit. Let's go back in the file again. And if you want to delete the whole line, you want to delete the entire line here, right? So if you want to delete the entire line, just push DD couple times. The whole line is gone. If you do U, undo, it brings it back. If you do DD, the line is deleted. And I want to save and exit, save X, and enter save and exit, okay? I go back in the file again. Now, I'll copy this line 1 here a couple times. And then I could paste it wherever I want here. So wherever this line is, I want to paste it right. So wherever the cursor is, that line will be pasted below that cursor. Okay, give me 1 second here. Can you go on mute, please? So we are at this line here, and we copied this line. So when I go down here, it will line, this is Linux course. It will be pasted below this here. The line 5 will be moved down, and it will be pasted below line 4. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I copied the very first line, and I'm gonna come here and do P. So it pasted the line below it. P. There you go. The line is pasted there. Now, suppose if I want to search something inside the line, inside this document here, for example, Linux, how do I do that? All you have to do is a /, okay, and then copy this line Linux and hit enter. So what you see is, you see the Linux is being highlighted 3 times because you're searching for it. And if you do N as in Nancy, you move between each highlighted instances. Wherever the Linux is showing up, you're gonna move all those places. Okay, let's get out of that. Okay. So the next common one you would ever use is this one here. You want to find something and replace it, okay? So what we're going to do is, we're going to search for Linux and replace it with Red Hat. So let's see how we're going to do it. you do shift, okay, then you do percentage, S as in Sam, and you type Linux, and then we're going to replace it with Red Hat, and I'll hit enter. Okay, and now you see Linux was replaced with Red Hat here. There was 3 instances. There was Linux here, 1, 2, 3, and Linux got replaced with Red Hat. Okay, any questions here? I'm going to save and exit. I go back in there, and my changes are being saved here. Okay, what I'll do is, there are so many other commands here you could use. Give me one moment here. Let me copy that for you. Okay, I have some more commands here. You could just practice it. I mean, you could use it if you have a good. I copied this from my other document I have here, and you could practice this here. Okay, it's pretty simple. It's not a rocket science here. Just follow this here, and then you will be able to do it. Okay. All right. Let's not spend too much time on it, but the most common one you will ever use is these ones here, and escape, quit, all that. Okay, other than that, all these things should be easy for you. Okay, all right, so actually I'm getting a call here. Give me one moment here. Okay, let's take a 5-minute break here. Let me get this call, and then I'll come back in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back here. Okay, so I hope everybody is following along. Anybody has a question, please stop me, and then I'll explain you further, okay? Alright, so next thing we should work on is, let's see what we have here. We have VI editor. So we did who, alias, touch, VI editor. Okay, now let's see here. We know we have this file here, right? File 1. But you just want to read the file, but you don't want to go inside the file. Okay, so we have file here. So you don't want to go like vi file 1 and read in there and come back, right? So what you could do is you could do cat file 1 and hit enter. What will happen is it will display all the lines inside this file here onto the screen one time. So if you have like 1,000 lines in your screen, it will display 1,000 lines. I'm sorry. If you have 1,000 lines inside this file, it will display 1,000 lines on your screen here, but that's not useful here. So the cat command is only useful when you are reading the smaller file, the small which is very insignificant and it doesn't have too much information in it. Okay, so I'll show you later on how you would end up reading the other files here. Before that, I need to explain you the redirector. So cat it stands for concatenate. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this stands for concatenate, and it reads the file and displays as output. Okay, there is nothing more to it. Just like cat file1 and it does that for you. Okay, good. Now the next very important topic here is redirector. Okay, redirector means redirecting the output. I'll take that back here. One is, I'll show you, I'll explain you what I mean by here. Okay, so what we have here is a redirector, and I'll explain exactly you how it works here. Okay, so before that, let me put this in here. Okay, so we have 0. Everybody knows a number starts with 0, right? 1, 2. Numbers start with 0, end with what? Anybody? Numbers end with 9, right? There are 10 numbers. 0 to 9, total 10 numbers. Okay, 10 is a combination of 1 and 0. Okay, that's how 10 is made up. But in reality, 10 is, there are only 10 numbers. It starts with 0 and ends with 9. And the 0 is represented with less than sign. And 1 is represented with greater than sign. And 2 is represented with 2 greater than sign. And less than sign is called standard output. Standard input, sorry. Okay? And greater than is referred to as standard output. And the third one is represented as or referred to as standard error. Okay? So let's take a look here. So we are reading a file cat, and I want to read file 1. So I have a file here, it says file 1 here, right? And I want to read a file. I want to read a file, file 1. So what I'm going to do is cat 0 greater than file 1. And it reads the file. But you would say, like, wait a minute here. Earlier I did it without 0 greater than sign in here. But over here I'm doing 0 greater than sign and the result is the same. Yeah, so what happened back in 70s, for you to be able to read the file, you have to provide this information here. 0, less than, and the file name. So if you would have not provided that, you wouldn't be able to read the file. Okay, so This is the command. This is the command. And we have to provide this part here. What is happening here? Excuse me. Give me one moment here, guys. Hold on. Okay, so we have the command here, and you have to provide this part here. Okay, which is here. And the source. Okay, so we are taking the standard input. Instead of telling the command the input, we are grabbing the input from the file. Okay, I know this is confusing. Who has questions regarding this? What you should do is just simply put on the key on the keyboard. Just simply do this here. All you have to do is cat 0 less than file 1, and it does the same thing. And it does the same thing cat input file without 0 file 1. It does the same thing here. So what happened? Why the 0 is not required? And if you simply do cat file 1, why is the greater than sign is not required altogether? The reason being is back in 70s you have to do this here, but now the system has been developed and all these things has been created. So what you have to do is you just have to do cat file 1. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is the next one is standard output here, right?
Question.
I'm sorry, you have a question?
Yeah, so it means nowadays if we just do the cat and the file name, that's okay. Or 0 and the less than sign, that's also okay.
Yeah. But in reality, I'm not using that every day. So, if you have like a system that was developed back in 70s, then you have to do that. But right now it's already built in. The system is doing it in the background actually for you. Let's keep it that way.
Okay.
Okay, now let's see echo. Then I'm going to put in double quotes. This is fun course. And hit enter. What is this? This is our output here, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to now this is a standard output here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the redirector. What is going to happen now? Can somebody take a wild guess?
Would be same thing?
Can you explain that to me?
You mentioned 0 and the less than sign, but would do the same thing?
No.
It's going to give the output.
It's going to replace the file content with this is the fun course inside the file mode.
Very good. Very good. So what will happen is echo, this is the fun course and I have a single one here. So everything in this file, all these lines will be gone. And what will happen? Only this will be in there. Okay? Let's do that. See, there is no output. This is fun course is not on the screen anymore. Why? Because we told the system. So hence this is a redirector. We are referring this to as a redirector. We are redirecting it to other place. So standard input means we're taking the input as a redirector from the file, and we are displaying it on the screen. And output, we are redirecting the output and we are putting in the file. We are doing vice versa here. If you do cat file 1, all the content is gone. So you got to be careful just using the single one. You have to use the double. Next time, use the double quote, double greater than sign. So I'm going to say this is fun course 2, and I'm going to say double. When you do double greater than sign, it will add here, it will add to the second line. Okay? If I do cat file 1, so it preserved the first line and it got rid of, it kept the first line and it added the second line in here. Okay? Now, who is not confused? Who is not confused? So everybody's confused then. Okay, let me go through this again. So I have this file 1, and I'm going to add some content to file 1 here, keeping everything in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is echo this line is 3. Okay, and I'm going to close this. Okay, and then I'm going to double sign this and hit enter. So what happened here is, if I do cat file 1, I should have this line, and this line too. There you go. I told you. So before I forget, let me copy this here. Okay. Okay, so standard output, this is fun course, right? And standard output, what we did is we redirected it. Okay, and this will preserve the okay, good. This is gonna preserve the content of the file here. Okay, now here's another trick. What I want to do is I want to copy this file to another file name file 2. What I'm going to do is cat file 1, right? And all the content is here. So what I'm going to do is cat file1 greater than, most of the time I use 2 greater than, okay, and file2. Remember, file2 doesn't exist. File2 doesn't exist, and then I do file1, it's over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the content of file1 into file2. Since the file doesn't exist, what will happen is at the same time it will create the file and copy the content of the file1 to file2. ls and file2 is there. There you go. If I run this command again, what will happen? How many lines will be in there? It's reading the content of this file again, and since we are doing the double greater than sign, you will have these 2 lines again on the bottom. 3 lines. I'm sorry, not 2 lines, 3 lines. There you go. So it kept the existing lines and it added another 3 lines. Why? Because we are catting the entire file and sending it to file2 again. Any questions?
No.
The second step, the third line is added by itself.
So here, file2 doesn't exist. No, not there. So when we did ls here, okay, over here, file2 doesn't exist, right? It's only file1. And this is the what's inside file1. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to copy file1 to file2, but file2 doesn't exist. So you don't have to go through the pain of doing vi, file1, save and exit and all that, right? What you're doing is you're doing a shortcut here. You do cat file1 and you put down 2 greater than sign, and then you put down file2. At this moment, file2 is created. At the same time, whatever was inside file1 has been copied into file2. Now file2 has the content that was inside file1. Now for fun, we did this again, cat file1 and then put this into file2. Since we are using double greater than sign, what will happen is it will keep the original of file2. This is the original of file2 and plus the original of file1. What is the original of file1? These are the these are the 3 lines for file1. Now it has become, we did 2 times, so it added 2 times. Okay? Okay. You guys are following along with me? You all are following along, right? Or you just watching?
File into the same file, right?
Yeah. It all depends what you're doing here. What if you do 3? What's going to happen here? Let me do this here. Let me go back. Cat file1, okay? Now, I'm going to do file3. So, what is going to happen now? Tell me. Anybody?
The file 3 it will exist.
Okay.
File 3 will be there.
I'm sorry, what?
It will create a file 3 with the contents of file 1.
Oh, very good. And how many lines? How many lines will be
It will
there?
have 3 lines in there.
Huh?
Three lines.
3 lines. Very good. Very good. You got it. So, I mean, in this case, it's 3 lines. If you had 1,000 lines, then it will create 1,000 lines. It will copy over 1,000 lines to file new file. Okay, that's all it is. It's very simple. Practice like 3 or 4 times, you'll get it. Okay. There you go. 3 lines. Okay. All right. Now, okay. Now it says standard error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to generate an error. I type a unknown thing here, and this is an error. Command not found is an error. So normally what you do is 2 greater than sign. If you're searching through something, sometimes it gives you a lot of errors, right? If you want to filter out the errors, what you do is 2 greater than, and you send it to dev null. Dev null is a built-in, this is a built-in black hole where you could just send the error there and you don't want to see it. It's not a recycle bin. If you send something in there, it's just an empty space. It will clear things out. So when I did like 2 greater than sign, and I did the command, see this command here, error is filtered out and then thrown out of the window, and we don't get to see the error. So let's see here. I'm going to create an error, cat file 1, and I'm going to type garbage here and hit enter. Now you see, do you see here that first command it ran? This is the good output of the first command. Okay, everybody agree with that? And the second command doesn't exist actually. So here it's throwing the output here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 greater than dev null. And what is going to happen? What is going to be displaying on the screen? Anybody?
Give you the output of the first command, and that the second one will go in the
Yeah. Very good.
not the
Dev null, and only the good part is going to be displayed on the screen. There you go. Oh, it gave the line though. That means it was an error. I didn't know that. But you got the idea here. It sucked out all the errors here. So
what about the line?
Yeah, the line is there. It sucked out this line and gave the blank line.
Okay.
It didn't give me the blank line when I did it.
It did not?
It didn't give me. No.
Oh, okay. I may have hit enter twice. Yeah, I hit enter like in quick session. So now what I want to do is I want to cat into a place where I don't have access to, okay? I want to cat into a place home slash Shakil, and I'm going to cat his file 1. Do you have file 1 in there, Shakil?
Yes, yes.
And it says permission denied. Permission denied is also an error. So instead of doing that, I'm going to go into like everybody's folder here. See, I'm a regular user and I'm trying to go into somebody else's directory and then I don't have a permission denied, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of a cat, I'm going to do ls. If I do ls and then home and then I want to do ls slash home slash asterisk. So what I'm doing is I'm doing the ls in everybody's directory here. So what is happening is the system is going into everybody's directory and denying the permission. And since I have into my own directory, it gave me the output. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to search it and then I'm going to do 2 greater than slash dev slash null. What is going to happen now? All the errors is going to be filtered out and only this part is going to be visible.
Right.
There you go. Now, do you see the advantage of using the standard error 2 greater than? Do you see? You don't have to sort through all these garbage errors you're not interested in. Okay? So this is how you use this, okay? Okay. Now, what if I do this here? I bring this line and I'm going to do file 4. So, can somebody give me a wild guess of what is going to happen now?
Create a file 4.
Okay, very good. That part is really good. And what is going to throw it in there?
Nothing.
Anybody else could try? So what happened here is...
File 1, file 2, file 3?
No. Look at this here. So we are catching all the errors and we are sending it to the file. Earlier, we were catching all the errors and sending it to the black hole, right? You could also send it to the file, okay? You just don't have to send it to the black hole. So what is going to display is only the good part is going to display and the bad part is going to go into the file 4. See, file 4 didn't exist earlier. It did now. And at the same time, so when you go inside file 4, it will purely have errors in there, nothing else. Okay? Why it has only errors here? Because you told the system cache the errors and send the errors to this file here, okay? Any more questions? So let's have
Yes.
some fun.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we not gonna waste the what you call the memory to create to send all errors into the new file instead of just putting it disappear?
Yeah. I mean, normally you don't need to capture the errors. Okay. That was just an exercise so that you would know what you are able to do with it.
Right, but in the practice we don't need to do that.
Yeah, in reality, I'm not doing that.
Okay, thank you.
So well, let's see here. I do ls-l. What is going to happen now?
We can see the file for in the directory.
I'm sorry, what? What is in file 4? Let's cat file 4 first. Okay, file 4 has all these lines here. So what I could do is, I want to override this here. File 4.
My guess would be the inside contents will delete.
Yeah, inside contents will be this. Because we are redirecting it. There you go. The old content will disappear and new content will be there. Why? Because you are adding the single greater than sign. And if you do it twice again, it will add to it, okay? There you go. Okay, standard errors. All right. So literally, you could send all the output to another file. So if you have somebody, you know, if you want somebody at your job, they want the output of so much stuff here. So how are you gonna do it? What you could do is you could put all the output and put it into the file and send it to them. Let's see how you would do it to a bunch of files here, okay? I mean bunch of commands. You do who. Earlier I told you could run multiple commands, right? Who, echo, and then you do ls-l, echo, pwd, echo, and then you did tree. All these things are coming up on your screen here. Okay, I want to put all these things into the file file 5. So you have to put in the into the parentheses and send it to file 5 and hit enter. So file 5 was not there. Now if you do cat file 5, okay, whatever all these commands were there, the output, it didn't show on the screen. Now all that output went into the file 5. There you go. And now you could email that file to whoever that person asks you, you need the output, you just send it to them. Alright guys, this is not a rocket science, okay? It's very nice, it's very easy, and you could do it. I'm giving you all the instructions here. It's easy. All you have to do is practice several times and you get the game.
Question: how are you gonna email this output from the Linux? I mean, it's not the Windows environment.
Yeah. So I'll show that will come up with later in the game, but right now you just created the file here. I'll show that later. Okay. Maybe
Okay.
another 2-3 weeks from now I'll show you how we're gonna extract the file out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. If I show you now, then we'll be jumping the gun. All right. Now, so what time is it? Should we take a break now or? Oh, 11:30. So let's take a good 20-minute break. We all come back at right now. It's at. Why is the time not showing here?
11:30 around.
Yeah, 11:30. So let's come back at 11:50 Eastern. I'm sorry, Central.
Okay.
All right, break starts now.